Let's revisit a shocking idea from novelist Henry Miller. There is an inevitable discrepancy between the truth of the matter and what one thinks, even about himself. Those few words, if true, explode most philosophical and theological ideas and overturn all the deep personal feelings that tell us we're an authority on life's big issues and that every time we open our mouth, truth flies out. Which is to say, if Henry Miller is correct, his sentence is a death sentence for all our precious certainties, convictions, and pronouncements. How could that be possible? Isn't the mind made for truth? Old-time philosophers and most theologians say yes. And for thousands of years, the human race has been brainwashed into thinking about truth, truth, truth. But modern-day evolutionary psychologists and neuroscientists, with their advanced methods of studying the brain, have become the leading critics of that idea. They point out that evolution cares only about passing on our genes to the next generation. In other words, evolution made the mind for survival, not for truth. They add that the mind is made to delude itself, especially if that delusion confers a survival advantage. And thinking we know the truth, even when we don't, might be one of the leading survival-enhancing delusions, and maybe the scariest. We can see this when we realize that everyone from preschoolers to the president proclaims the truth. And there's this. Some researchers believe philosopher David Hume was correct when he said the logical reasoning part of the brain is a slave to the passions. This means we have deep intuitions about things, gut feelings, and that the brain's logic apparatus kicks into gear for the sole purpose of creating plausible sound bites to support those gut feelings. In other words, the so-called logical part of the brain is not like a cutting-edge scientist seeking out the truth. It's more like a public relations firm creating catchy slogans. It's like we're all natural-born press secretaries, a huge herd of hapless Huckabees hoping our implausible rationalizations are accepted as gospel truth. And here's another thing. Let's admit that science does a fantastic job of getting at the truth of the matter in regards how nature works, and comes up with wonderful substances and devices to make life better. But we don't spend our days thinking like scientists. We don't follow a rigorous method, or do 10,000 tests, or welcome input from others, or try to make our ideas fail. Since the point of Beyond Belief is not to tell you what to think, but to shed light on how we think, then we have to consider one very frightening possibility. Our brain is designed to con us into thinking that we're all about the truth when we're not. Can you imagine anything worse than that? It means that as we look around the world today, from the water cooler to the White House, it's truly a case of the blind leading the blind, or trying to. Has that ever been more obvious or dangerous?